Comparing yourself with others may be what is stopping you from growing as a professional and in your personal life. Let me share with you why. Comparing yourself with others is very different from observing them, especially when it comes to sales. In a sales world, looking at top reps, it's important. You want to learn from them, but you can do it two ways. You can do it by comparing yourself, comparing your performance, and observing what the top performers are doing. Let me tell you an example of what comparing means. You can say that the account executive X, John, is closing at 200% of quota while you're only at 50%, for example. That's a comparison. A comparison is not good for you because, firstly, it can be objective, like in this case I provided to you, but it tends to be something subjective, right? I give you another example that you may be familiar with. A platform that incentivizes comparison is Instagram. You see that some very famous people have a Lamborghini, for example, some expensive supercar, and you don't. You're just comparing yourself with this person, right? So you see that this comparison is subjective in a sense that just looking at the difference is fine, but this comparison tends to lead to a judgment. There is a judgment call in there, right? Typically, if you observe that John is closing at 200% of quota and you're only at 50%, you may think that, well, John is just better at sales than I am. Now, that comparison often has some negative connotation, right? It leads you to think that you're simply not enough. Not just as a seller, but even as a person, as a professional. So what comparing yourself with others does, basically it just hurt you. It leads to negative emotions. There is no actionable coming from that comparison. It's simply building negativity that would just make it harder for you to close the gap if that's what you're going after. So if you have to compare with someone, compare with yourself. Compare with yourself from yesterday, for the day before, from 1 week ago, from a month ago, from a year ago. Compare yourself against yourself. That's it. The other thing you can do, and I recommend you do, is observing what top performers are doing. Now, observation is slightly different. Let me give you an example. You may see again, for if we continue with the example, that John is hitting 200% of quota because he's making twice as many calls per day that I am. Now, this observation is fact based, right? You've seen that he is making more calls than I am, than you are. That's the first thing. But secondly, there is no judgment in that. It's a simple fact. He is just making twice as many calls as you are making. Now, that's important because there is no emotion connected to that. Well, I mean, you may feel a little bit like you are not doing enough, but you see here the difference with comparing. There is an action. You know that you can make that if you, or the idea here is that if you make twice as many calls as you're currently doing, then you're going to perform just like John is. So this observation can be the fuel, can be what propels you to grow, right, to achieve higher and higher results. That's why observing is something positive, something that I suggest you do. Always look out for what the top performers are doing, observe judgment free what they're going for, and then emulate if you think that taking this action will help you. Obviously, it's important to keep in mind that everyone is different and the same approach does not work for everyone. Then again, observation for me has been helpful, and I know for a lot of people has also been very helpful. So next time you feel like you are not achieving enough, observe what top performers are doing. Do not compare yourself with them. Hope this helps. Go get it.